Hello everyone, and welcome to a special Let's Play edition of WWF No Mercy. I am Be Better Gamer, and today's episode I will be talking about my Royal Rumble 2015 predictions. You can't really expect me to not talk about the Royal Rumble, right? I just finished watching Raw. It's Tuesday. I watch Raw the day after because I don't have cable, so I watch it on Hulu Plus, the hour-and-a-half edit version, which I'm not too crazy about because they don't show a lot of the matches, so I go on WWE.com anyway to see the matches that happened that I might have missed. But anyway, I'm all caught up on Raw, so I'm recording this podcast. I wish it was a podcast. I'm like stone cold over here. I'm recording this after I just watched Raw. SmackDown's, Thursday, but I can't wait that long. I'm too excited. I want to talk about Royal Rumble. If they add other matches on SmackDown, whatever. I think they've, hammered out all the main matches that they wanted to highlight before the event. Who knows, they might squeeze another match announced on SmackDown. So I figured the best way to talk about the Royal Rumble while we're still doing a Let's Play, is I actually do a Royal Rumble match. And if you saw really quickly in the beginning of the video, I'm playing on expert still. I'm putting it at 32 because normally the Royal Rumble is 30, but the number of entrants you can do in No Mercy is divisible by 4 for whatever reason. I guess because you can only have 4 people at a time in the ring. I don't know why they didn't just make it 30, but it's always been like that. You could do 40, but I thought 40 would just take too long. I kind of wish the Royal Rumble was 40 again this year. They did that once. Since this is No Mercy, and since my Let's Play videos focus heavily on me talking about the historical context from which the year No Mercy was being developed and when it was released, I decided to do this video while playing as The Rock, who won the Royal Rumble in the year 2000. And that Royal Rumble was interesting because that year, The Rock, he went on to WrestleMania, but so did Big Show and Mick Foley, and it was a 4-way dance for the World Heavyweight title. So there was a lot of storyline happenings that affected the main event of the Royal Rumble. It wasn't as clean cut as it usually is, where the winner of the Royal Rumble gets the spot at WrestleMania. So yeah, I won't try to talk too much about the gameplay, although maybe I'll highlight some of the close calls of me getting eliminated. It's definitely tense, and I'm just gonna be straight up. This was probably my 4th attempt to do a Rumble where I clear it, because I didn't want to do a Rumble where I lost. I thought that would have been pretty lame. And I was gonna, oh yeah, just really quickly I'll do a Royal Rumble match, and it took me 4 times to get it right. So. But I got it up, so now I can talk about the Royal Rumble. Don't worry, I'll get back to my other Let's Plays where I'll be doing the 100% Championship videos. If you haven't checked out my Light Heavyweight Championship Let's Play series, please do. I've made a playlist of it. I'm starting my European Championship, and the first video should go up around the same time as when I put this video up, and hopefully the second video will go up a little bit right after that. So I'll have 2 European Championship Let's Plays up hopefully by tomorrow. My weekend's gonna be pretty busy, so I probably won't be able to do another video until after the Royal Rumble, where I will most likely do my Royal Rumble 2015 reaction. And oh man, I am pumped for this Rumble. Can I just say 2014 was a pretty good year for WWE pay-per-views. They really still need to work on the weekly shows. I'm still never really excited when I watch Raw or SmackDown. I mean, NXT's killing it, but that's NXT. We all know they're gonna do a good job because it's a different style there, different breed, different wrestlers. Raw and SmackDown is very storyline heavy, and the storylines just aren't that interesting, but the build up to the Royal Rumble has been very good, and they've been doing a pretty good job. And the reason why I say they've been doing a pretty good job is because I don't know what's going to happen. I really don't know. Normally it's very clear, and they have to really go out of their way to try to swerve us. Daniel Bryan not being in the Royal Rumble. They really have to go out of their way to throw us for a loop. But they don't really have to do that this year because that triple threat match changed everything. And at first I wasn't crazy about it when they announced that Seth Rollins was going to be in the triple threat. Because you just knew Cena, Brock Lesnar 3 was going to be at the Royal Rumble. You just knew it was going to happen. The way their feud has been building up and the 2 losses that Cena occurred and the last time was a little bit sketchy. And they weren't going to have it at the other pay-per-views because, we all know that Lesnar's contract is most likely up come WrestleMania. If not, maybe he is staying. Who knows? I'm trying not to spoil it too much for myself. I try to stay away from all the wrestling websites that have all the spoilers and backstage reports this and rumors has it that's this. I used to look at that stuff, and even recently when I started getting back into wrestling, probably like a year or so ago, when I really started to follow it again, and try to watch every pay-per-view and try to watch the other promotions, but I've come to a point, and it's not just with wrestling, it's with other stuff like video games and movies and stuff. If I find out about something, I try to let myself be excited for it by not spoiling it for myself. So I try not to watch too much of the behind the scenes for the video games, because then I might see some levels and already know too much about them. Or I try not to watch too many movie trailers of the same movie, because then I've seen pretty much like the whole movie, and sometimes trailers get really bad and they pretty much spell out how the whole movie's gonna go down. And it's kind of like that with wrestling. You go on these websites and you read about the backstage and the plans, and so was scheduled to fight this person but now it's changed, and there's people on Reddit and all these message boards that's have the matches all laid out and revealed the night of the show, and it takes all the surprise out of it. And so I've been doing that a lot with wrestling. I haven't been reading a lot of the websites that spoil the stuff. I try to read the websites that just kind of like critique it and review it, but sort of also from like a fan's viewpoint, because you get old enough and it can be kind of bad to know too much about wrestling. I definitely know a lot, and when you know too much, it takes the fun out of it in a way, because wrestling should be about entertainment as much as it is about the sport of it. But when you know too much about the inner workings of what goes on behind stage, and so wouldn't do this job, or so-and-so's supposed to lose tonight, it takes the fun out of it, and for me, part of watching wrestling now as an adult is to go back to that time where as a kid, I ate it up. I believed it. I believed Hogan really hated, Macho Man, and Macho Man really hated Hogan, and Hogan wasn't losing the title to Ultimate Warrior, so Ultimate Warrior could pass the torch. It was because Ultimate Warrior was stronger than Hogan. You know what I mean? Like, I bought into the storyline. So I try not to spoil it. So my predictions are gonna be, from the fan. From Be Better Gamer, the fan of wrestling. I'm gonna have wild predictions. I'm gonna have realistic expectations, and then I'm gonna have hopefully educated predictions, because I've been watching it for so long, and I want to hear from you. I want to hear what you think. If you think I'm gonna be right on the money, if you think I'm an idiot for thinking such and such is gonna win the Rumble. Or how it's gonna go down. But I want to hear from you, because that's why I love the Royal Rumble so much. It's so exciting. That countdown, who's gonna come out, what's gonna happen, who's gonna eliminate who. But there's a lot of other stuff happening at this Royal Rumble that also has a lot of surprises. That's probably gonna have a lot of surprises, I should say, not just the Royal Rumble match. So yeah, I watched Raw. And again, I didn't spoil it for myself, because I think this Royal Rumble, something special is gonna happen, and I was like, they're gonna do something special on Raw, and that's gonna mean that even something more special is gonna happen on the Royal Rumble. And I was right. I didn't go on WWE.com this morning. I waited patiently till I got home, and when I was washing the dishes, I was watching the Raw replay, and and I guess I should say, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Raw yet, I'm gonna talk about Raw. Again, this has recorded before SmackDown, so I haven't seen SmackDown, so I won't, I don't know that, so I won't spoil that. But if you haven't seen Raw, I'm going to talk about it. You should go watch it. It was good. But yeah, Sting showed up, and he was, he showed up at SummerSlam, and now he's showing up at Raw, and that pretty much solidified the surprises that I think are in store for the Royal Rumble. The fact that they put Sting on Raw means your ass better watch the Royal Rumble, because he's probably going to be there again, or someone else, and I'll get to that in a bit. But first, let's talk about the other matches on the card real quickly, because I think some of them have implications going into WrestleMania, and I'm looking forward to some of these matches in no particular order. Well, I guess let's start off with the kickoff match, The New Day versus Cesaro, Kid, Adam Rose. And I love all these guys. I'm familiar with all of them except for Adam Rose. I didn't really follow a lot of his indie stuff or NXT stuff. But basically you can call this team, New Day versus team first round NXT guys. So, but it's the kickoff match, so it's probably going to be a good match. I think Cesaro, Kid, and Adam Rose will probably win because they lost on Raw. And they need to start picking up some significant wins, and I think this is going to be a good way to continue this feud, have them keep going back and forth for a little bit, because I think all these guys, when they get in the ring, they put on good matches. I've really come to like Tyson Kidd when he went back to NXT, and you really start to see how good of a heel he can be. So I'm really excited about where they go with this. I think the Cesaro, Kid, Adam Rose team needs a little bit more believable synergy than what they're doing right now. It just feels like they're just slapping them together. But I think they could figure something out and create a very cohesive unit. It was Raw, what was it? What did they call it? Raw Rewind? So I don't even remember. I just saw it. I can't even remember what they called it. But they had all the legends come to Raw, and I seriously can't remember it. I'm like having a flashback, whatever. But the Ascension came out when the NWO were doing their, survey, if you will, to the crowd, and they came out, and then APA and the Outlaws came out, and then right after that, so they pretty much announced that the Outlaws were going to take on the Ascension. I think this is good for the Ascension. I really like the Ascension in NXT. I think they made him a little bit over the top with the face paint and the shoulder pads. Obviously, even in NXT, there was a lot of, Legion of Doom talk around these guys, how reminiscent they were. But I think, when you put that on the Raw camera, it becomes really obvious that, what they're trying to do. I hope they're not trying to do that. I hope they're not trying to make them the second coming of the Legion of Doom, because I think these guys can stand out on their own. But I think they're going to win the match. I think they're going to beat the Outlaws, because I think they need a big match to go over. And I don't see them feuding with the Outlaws for like months. You know what I mean? I don't see them like having a rematch. I think the Ascension are probably going to fight for the belts at WrestleMania, actually. So they need to start racking up some big wins. Paige and Natalya and the Bella Twins are going to be in a tag team match. I think these four women have been carrying the women's division on the main show. The NXT women's division is fantastic, but the improved in-ring work of the Bella Twins, even though I don't understand why they're friends again, I felt like the storyline with them and Stephanie McMahon and the Twins turning on each other was really good. And Paige being weird is kind of confusing. I think these four girls are going to put on a great match. Four women. They'll probably kick me in the face if I said four girls. I think they're going to put on a really good match. Hopefully their match doesn't get cut short. A lot of the women's matches always get cut short. And I really feel like the group of women that are in the WWE now are actually really good. I'm no longer going to make myself a sandwich when they wrestle. I get excited when I see Natalya wrestle or Paige wrestle, or especially in NXT, man. Every time Charlotte or Sasha Banks come on, I'm watching, because they put on great matches, and I can't wait till those women come up. Did I say who's gonna win that? Let's go with, this could go either way. It's not really that important who wins. I think Paige and Natalya have to go over just because one of them are going to fight the Bella Twins for the title later on. So they got to come out looking strong, and then there'll maybe be some like rift between them, where, you know, maybe a triple threat match down the line. So Paige and Natalya, we got the only belt that's being announced to being defended, and that's the Usos, the defending tag champs, against Miz and Mizdow. I think the Usos are going to win, only because Miz and Mizdow aren't going to last too much longer, and I think it's pretty obvious that Mizdow has turned. Damien Sandow, I really had high hopes for him when he first came out. Even though he was wearing the pink trunks, I was like, Macho Man wore pink, and now he's in the Hall of Fame. But the whole "I'm smarter than you" gimmick always is great for a heel who can pull it off, and he pulled it off pretty well. And for some reason, you know, it seemed like he was gonna be pushed as this up and coming heel, and then something happened, and it just went away, and he, you know, tanked his Money in the Bank opportunity, and, you know, he started doing the gimmick where he would dress up, and I was like, oh, that's like the kiss of death. You know, when they give you that gimmick, that means like either A, you're a star they don't know what to do with, or B, you're on your way out. And he turned it into something that everyone loves now, especially when he started imitating The Miz. So he's breaking out. I think there's going to be some tension in this match that causes them to lose. I also think that they want to maybe keep, at least I would keep the Usos strong going into WrestleMania, because I want to see the Usos and the Ascension at WrestleMania. Usually they do big like tag team matches at WrestleMania, but I think the Usos and the Ascension could put on a great match at WrestleMania, and it'll help establish how good the Ascension really are. And the Usos have shown they can work with tag teams who are, you know, supposed to be bigger and stronger than them. I mean, their matches with the Wyatt brothers were fantastic, and for like 3 pay-per-views in a row last year, they like stole the show pretty much. So I think that would be a great WrestleMania tag team match, and if you want that match to matter, you have to keep both teams strong. That's just my opinion. So I think the Usos go over Miz and Mizdow, and the Ascension go over the Outlaws. If the Ascension lose, then maybe you'll see Miz and Mizdow win. Just saying. Who knows? Who knows? And can I just talk about, real quick, before we get into the other 2 big matches, I hate it when a champion loses a non-title match. I just hate it. I think it's stupid. I don't think a champion should ever lose a non-title match unless he gets like royally screwed. But even that you should be very careful, because they're a champion for a reason. But when they're losing exhibition matches, it's like, then why isn't the other guy the champion? And I'm talking about Barrett and Dean Ambrose from Raw. You know, I love Ambrose, but, you know, Barrett shouldn't. He just became the champion. He shouldn't lose to Ambrose like that. He shouldn't lose so easily. He's the IC champion. That belt should mean something. Even Rusev wins all his non-title matches. You know, maybe he gets disqualified or something what happens, but he's stayed strong as champion because, you know, he doesn't lose. And that has to be believable. If he's the champ, it has to be believable that he's not going to lose even in a regular match or non-title match. I mean, you see him even in NXT. You know, when Sin Cara and Kalisto are in non-title tag team matches, they still win. They still win because it's supposed to be this whole idea of like, I'm the champ. You want a title shot? You're not worthy of it. But how about this? We step in the ring and I give you a little taste. I give you a little taste of how you can't beat me. And if you're going to have a big star like Ambrose and you want him looking strong going into the Rumble, have him fight someone else, or have you know, Barrett cheat to win, or at least get himself disqualified and then have Ambrose come out on top after that. It keeps them both looking strong because it keeps Barrett looking like a heel who'll do anything to keep his title, or at least keep the image that he won't lose. And it'll keep Ambrose strong because he's like, no, this Punk, I'm not going to let this Punk get away with that. He thinks he can cheat and beat me up. I'm going to go after him. So that's just a thought, and I only bring it up because, you know, the Usos are going in. You know, they won in their singles matches leading up to the Rumble, so I don't know, that's just me. Also, Daniel Bryan and Bray Wyatt had a match on Raw, and I love the fact that Wyatt won because, again, that's a great way to have both, you know, two top stars go at it, and you don't want them to both go in weak. Obviously, Bryan has to go in looking like, you know, Kane's going to beat him on Thursday. Yeah, right. The WWE is not that stupid. They're not going to keep Bryan out of the Royal Rumble again. Right? Right? They're not going to do that. No, they're not going to do that. So, yeah, I get nervous thinking about it. But if you haven't watched last year's Royal Rumble, Bray Wyatt, Daniel Bryan had a fantastic match. And obviously, if you're watching this prediction, you're probably going to watch the WWE Network on Sunday, so you already are paying that $9.99. But if you haven't, or if you just bought it to watch this pay-per-view, watch that match from last year. Watch how good it was, and watch how it's a taste of things to come when these guys have a really great program down the line, because they will. And that was a fantastic match, and I can't stop thinking about it. And when I saw them wrestle on Raw, I was like, Wyatt's gonna win. Why? Because when these guys meet down the line, maybe 6 months from now, maybe a year from now, but when they meet down the line for the world title, Wyatt's gonna be a big threat for Daniel Bryan as a heel, and that's gonna put Wyatt over big time. And I love that. You know, they had a decent match. It was no Royal Rumble 2014 match, but you know, Daniel Bryan just came back. Come on, you know, give him a chance. And they're obviously not gonna, you know, try to steal the show when so much other stuff was gonna happen that night. So, but watch last year's Royal Rumble. Watch that match. Okay. All right, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this. I know you've been waiting, and we're ready. You know, I'm rolling with the Rock. I'm getting into my rhythm. I'm knocking people out. I'm trying to stay alive. So let's a lot of close calls so far. I got, you know, even watching it again, I'm getting kind of nervous. I'm like, am I going to get eliminated? Anyway, what should we start with first? All right. Let's talk about the triple threat match. Let's talk about how I have no idea who's going to win this, how it's going to go down. Because when it was Cena and Lesnar, I was like, Lesnar's winning. Lesnar's winning. If he doesn't win, I'm not going to like it, but whatever. I can understand it. But when they threw in Seth Rollins, I was like, well, that's stupid, because Lesnar's going to win. Why are they going to do that to Seth Rollins? Throw him in there for no reason. To keep us guessing? And I was like, and I thought about it more, and I started thinking, wow, I really can't guess how this is going to go down now. It seems like Lesnar is, I wouldn't say he's turning face, but I would say that he's no longer protected by the Authority, because he's getting too wild. He's beating up on their golden boy, and I don't think Triple H and Stephanie McMahon like that, and I think it's gonna come back to bite Lesnar in the butt. I said it. And yeah, I mean, I don't think Cena's winning. I'll say that. I think the person who's least likely to win is Cena. Only because there's so little you can do, I think, with Cena going into WrestleMania as the champion. Because that would mean a heel would have to win the Rumble. And honestly, there's no top heels right now, with the exception of Bray Wyatt, that are contenders to win the Royal Rumble, with the exception of one other guy, which is Randy Orton, and you know, I'll get to him later. But yeah, so I think Cena's the least likely to win. Now, this is how I see it going down. right? I'm just gonna jump right into my crazy prediction. This is my completely fantasy, 100%. I thought of this on my own. If someone else has this idea, great, because great minds think alike. So kudos to you, sir or madame, for thinking about this the way I have. But this is what would get me goosebumps just thinking about if they did this. All right, so you got triple threat match, boom boom, things are going crazy, near fall here, near fall there. It looks like Cena's gonna do something to Rollins, put the Golden Boy away. Lesnar's been knocked out; he's somewhere out of the ring. The Mercury, and Noble interfere, this and that. All of a sudden, somehow they distract Cena enough. Rollins comes in, boom, curb stomp. 1, 2, Lesnar breaks it, picks up Rollins. Wait, we thought Lesnar was knocked out. No, he's not. F5, 1, 2, 3, boom, Lesnar wins, right? Oh, Lesnar wins, Lesnar wins, Lesnar wins. Now, Seth Rollins is a smart guy, and I don't think Seth Rollins can capitalize his money in the bank if he gets pinned, right? So that's why I'm having him get pinned in this situation. Because what's going to happen is, in my fantasy world, so Lesnar's celebrating, then standing up over everyone. Cena's laid out outside. Something happened to him. He got curb stomped. And lights go out. Uh-oh, lights go out. It's Sting. It's Sting, right? Oh my God, it's Sting. Sting's back. he's gonna do something. But he's not. And then you hear the gong. And everyone loses it. And then the lights come up, and Lesnar's looking out into the Titantron, because you heard the gong, you see the lightning, something's happening, and then they show Lesnar, and then they zoom out, and everyone's still freaking out. Why? Because Taker's in the ring behind him. Taker's in the ring behind him, and everyone's losing their shit. And Lesnar turns around, he senses something. Taker gives him those eyes. He looks at him. Lesnar's like, oh shit, oh shit, I thought I put you away. I thought I sent you to the hospital. Before Lesnar could even think about doing anything, Taker grabs him, choke slams him down, but Taker's not done. Cuts the throat with the thumb, not, literally, but figuratively. Alright, this is wrestling, it's a kid's show. Picks him up, tombstone power driver, everyone's losing it. Everyone's losing it. Taker stands in the ring. He stands over Lesnar. He's looking over to his side. Seth Rollins up. He's gasping because he's terrified. He's terrified of Lesnar, but he's also terrified of Taker. But he's like, whoa, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Grabs the money in the bank. Picks up the ref. Ring the bell. Taker is making his way out of the ring. 1, 2, 3. Seth Rollins cashes in the money to the bank. Thanks to Undertaker. You're welcome, everyone. Taker, Brock Lesnar rematch, WrestleMania. Good night. Oh no, but it's not good night because you got the Royal Rumble match. But that's how I would do it. That's how I would do it. Okay, can you hire me, WWE? Because that's how I would do it. That's probably not how they're gonna do it. I think that's a little too cool. That's a little too awesome. Because here's the thing I was thinking about. All right, Brock Lesnar. If he wins and Seth Rollins stays strong, he's like, I'm not going to cash in the Money in the Bank. Or maybe Dean Ambrose interferes, causes him not to cash it in. Or maybe he does try to cash it in, but Cena is like, nope, I'm going to screw you. You're not going to cash it in. So that keeps that little feud going on so that Lesnar can focus on the WrestleMania opponent, right? So that's a possibility. Okay, either Seth Rollins tries to cash in the Money in the Bank, and that's my realistic. He tries to cash it in, and either Cena or Ambrose screw it up for him. Because why would they throw in Seth Rollins in this triple threat match if he didn't realistically try to cash in his Money in the Bank right after it? It's 2 against 1, and even if Lesnar somehow overcomes the odds, because he is the guy who has to overcome the odds, he's the defending champion, all eyes are on him, then at least, well, we got to go to plan B, plan B, and do something so that Seth Rollins can still cash in the Money in the Bank right after Brock Lesnar, who, yeah, he might have beat 2 guys just now, but he's worn out, he's tired. Let's go get him. and then Cena or Ambrose or even maybe Roman Reigns might interfere. That's realistically what I think might happen. Only because Brock Lesnar going into WrestleMania, that's the title marquee, unless you have someone big cause him to mess up, like Taker, because we all want to see Taker Lesnar again, and the only way we're going to see that again at this current time is A, if Taker's, you know, healthy and ready to wrestle and he's going to come back, B, Taker's in the Royal Rumble, which a year ago it would have been my prediction, but I don't think he's going to be in the actual Royal Rumble match. Or C, they fight but not for the title, because Undertaker's not going to win the title. Let's face it, he's not going to win the title, at least not in this WrestleMania. That's another story I can talk about for another time. So yeah, that's how I see it. I mean, you got to think that if Brock Lesnar goes to WrestleMania, he's going to lose. Right? He's going to lose to whomever he faces, whether it be Ambrose, Roman Reigns, you know, Daniel Bryan. He's going to lose because his time is running out. We all know it. There's been talks about it. I haven't really been trying to really read into it because I really don't want to find out, you know, so-and-so Lesnar isn't re-signing with the WWE, but he's been there for a while, and even when he signed back, he was only signed for a few years, and time's running out. So we all know WrestleMania is pretty much going to be his last match. So if he goes in as champion, he is not leaving as champion. It's just not going to happen. Vince is going to do that. We all know it, and it's just better to actually put the stop to Lesnar if your whole focus of Lesnar having the title was who's going to stop this monster, and then the WrestleMania winner is the guy who stopped Brock Lesnar. And the only way to make that interesting, to me, if you are building up to that, if you are building up to Lesnar's going in as this monster to WrestleMania, and now here comes the monster killer, you know, the giant slayer, which is the Royal Rumble winner. The only way that stays interesting is if Seth Rollins doesn't try to cash in his Money in the Bank at the Royal Rumble. And that's actually what I think might happen. You know, I think it's realistic that he will. That's very believable, but I think what might happen, because I know Taker's not going to show up. Sting might show up. Maybe they'll do a Sting bit, and that Sting causes Rollins to lose the Money in the Bank or whatever. But I don't think that Rollins would cash it in, because then whoever beats Lesnar might actually lose it that night against Rollins. No Money in the Bank winner has cashed it in on WrestleMania yet. And what better way to push Rollins as the next great heel once Lesnar's gone? I mean, he's already up there. People are cheering for Lesnar more now than Rollins. But what better way than to have him ruin the party of the WrestleMania winner? I mean, of the WrestleMania winner who was the winner of the Royal Rumble, who beat Brock Lesnar. That's why I'm excited, because it can go any way. Those are just 3 of my own, like, you know, fantasy predictions, which I think are all in the realm of possibility. Knowing the WWE, they'll do something stupid. Or not as exciting, I should say. Not stupid. But I don't know. I have faith. I have faith that this match is going to live up to the expectations. Because the first match between Lesnar and Cena kind of took everyone by surprise. They were like, oh shit, you know, Cena got freaking, you know, thrown about like crazy, like nothing, you know. And then the second match was a lot better than I think people thought. I was into that match, and the way it was believable that John Cena was actually taking it to Lesnar, and then, whoa, is Rollins gonna cash in now? No, he's gonna wait. And I think him waiting was key. I think we might see that again. Rollins will know when it's his time to strike, and I think he might know he might be outmatched if he loses the triple threat. So those are my predictions. Let me know what you think, because it's very exciting. I like that I don't know what's going to happen, and that's how a championship match at the Royal Rumble should be. And now the Royal Rumble match. Who's going to win? Who's going to win? I guess I should just write out and like say who I want to win. This is who I want to win. This is not who I think will win. This is just me. as the fan who I want to win, and that's Daniel Bryan. I'm just going to say it. I'm going to put it out there. Daniel Bryan. I want Daniel Bryan to win. Why? Because he didn't come into the Royal Rumble last year, and out of the 3 people in that match, Cena, Lesnar, or Rollins, he's the only wrestler that I personally would be happy wrestling either one of those 3 people. You know, when I think about Roman Reigns, when I think about Dean Ambrose, when I think about Bray Wyatt, when I think about dark horses like Cesaro, who's obviously not going to win, when I think about Dolph Ziggler, when I think about Rusev, I could see them maybe wrestling 1 or 2 of those guys and being excited about it. Daniel Bryan, I would love to see him wrestle Brock Lesnar, and I think that's actually what will happen. Realistically, I think that is the most predictable thing, which is fine because I think Daniel Bryan and Brock Lesnar will have a great match, and I think that would be a great opportunity for Seth Rollins to steal it, because unlike last year, Daniel Bryan's dream came true, and now this is his big comeback moment, and Seth Rollins spoils it. So that would be great to see, and you know, Seth Rollins and Daniel Bryan would have a great match. I think also if Seth Rollins goes into the WrestleMania as the champion, that would make the WrestleMania match very interesting, because it wouldn't be so clear-cut Daniel Bryan winning it. Then it's like, well, Rollins could beat him. Rollins could totally beat him. Why? Because he's not the guy that's leaving. You know, Rollins is the future, and so is Daniel Bryan, and you know, so are a lot of these guys coming up, and this could be the start of a great rivalry. And so they can put on a clinic at WrestleMania from start to finish, and it could go either way, and no matter who wins in that match, it's just going to be the beginning of a fantastic feud. I mean, I'm talking about like the next Orton Cena, the next Rock Stone Cold, the next, you know, whatever. This would be that next feud, and I think it will. I think it will be. And even Cena and Daniel Bryan, I mean, when was the last time we had 2 faces go one-on-one? Well, Cena and The Rock. But that was different. That was more like, you know, kind of like a fantasy match, you know, great superstars and stuff like that. We knew The Rock wasn't sticking around. This is a little bit different. It would be more of a passing of the torch, which sort of happened back in SummerSlam, or like, you know, not this past SummerSlam, but the SummerSlam before that, when Daniel Bryan beat Cena and then Randy Orton cashed it in. So, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing that. The last matches they've had together were good. Daniel Bryan and Cena work well together, and I think that would be cool to see 2 top faces go at it. And maybe, who knows, that could be a changing of the guard for Cena. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think that's the least likely to happen. So I want Daniel Bryan to win. I still have to buy my Yes shirt. I haven't bought one yet. Now for the Royal Rumble itself, some of my other crazy predictions. Well, let's just get the obvious out of the way. Randy Orton's gonna be in it. It's just obvious. He's gonna fit the injured wrestler coming back role, which they've been having every year almost. You know, last year I think it was Sheamus. Sheamus was like out for a while, and all of a sudden he shows up at the Royal Rumble. But I think Randy Orton's going to be like, oh yeah, Randy Orton, he's been injured, right? He hasn't been around. They haven't talked about him. Wade Barrett, Roman Reigns, and Daniel Bryan all came back from injury before the Royal Rumble, and I thought they were at least going to keep Wade Barrett secret, but he's not the secret guy coming back from injury. It's Randy Orton. So he's going to be the secret guy coming back from injury, as I like to call it. Here we go, final 3. Oh, I'm getting to the end. I better hurry up. My NXT guy. I think, you know, they've been doing NXT guys coming in. I think Adrian Neville, or at least I would like to see Adrian Neville be in the Royal Rumble, because he could do some high spots. Kofi Kingston's gonna do something crazy as always. I think Rusev is gonna be pretty dominant this year. I think he might eliminate Roman Reigns, or Roman Reigns might eliminate him. I don't think anyone else is going to eliminate Rusev but Roman Reigns. Yeah, I mean, I think Roman Reigns can win it. And if he wins it, then he's got to go up against Brock Lesnar. Or maybe not. Maybe he should go up against Rollins. I think Dean Ambrose has a good chance, but I don't think he's going to win it. I think, if anything, if he screws up Rollins in the match, then, you know, watch him get eliminated by Rollins somehow. Like, Rollins will come in and distract him. I think Bray Wyatt will probably make it Final 4. I don't see him winning. And I think Jericho's going to show up. I think he's going to be another big surprise. So yeah, so those are my Royal Rumble predictions. I hope you liked it, and I hope you watch it, and you know, I can't wait to talk about it when it's all over. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this Let's Play, and I will catch you guys next time. Take it easy.